What's up, YouTube? It's K Cam put you on, and today we are talking about Sinners. Okay, now all y'all gonna be like, bro, I'm seeing Sinners everywhere on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. You're seeing it again, okay? I had to talk about Sinners because honestly, I think the movie was really solid. Okay, and this is gonna be minor spoilers throughout this video. I'm probably not gonna explain like major plot points, but if I do, I will say like major spoiler alert. But these so far in the beginning are gonna be minor spoilers. But as always, if you like the content, make sure you like and subscribe and comment down below what you think. What I want to talk about in Sinners mainly is the use of music within Sinners. Now, if you don't know Sinners, it's Ryan Coogler. He directed like Black Panther, I think most of the Creed movies, Fruitvale Station. The man is like making some amazing movies with only Michael B. Jordan damn near. Now, these movies are great, okay? Ryan Coogler incorporates a lot of like different cultural aspects from the black community. Black Panthers, like, there's always like really cool nuances, and it always reflects. But Ryan Coogler usually has really cool themes, and the music is always immaculate. Like, Black Panther has some really, really good music, has a really good soundtrack that's incorporated within Black Panther, and it has themes of like African drums and different African instruments, and it did that in like a really cool way. It didn't feel like too redundant, and I feel like he used a similar technique or thought pattern for Sinners. Like, Sinners are the same exact thing. So the main music that was in Sinners that we saw was blues and Irish folk music. And now you're going to be like, that's a crazy combo. And if you haven't seen Sinners, basically, main plot point, there's a main character named Sammy. He's like a blues prodigy, okay? He's just naturally gifted. That man is cooking. Because back then, the blues was seen as like the devil's music. A lot of different blues singers would talk about like selling their soul, and it was just very sad music. So it was kind of seen as the devil's music within like the Christian culture in America. So Sammy, the main character, is kind of battling this pull between following his father, who was a preacher, and putting down the guitar, and following his passion and love and his ancestry and history and diving into music. So it's kind of his main struggle within the movie. You see him kind of overcome this throughout the movie, and yeah, we're getting into like major spoilers, so I apologize. Fast forward, we see Sammy playing his guitar at the juke joint with Smoke and Stack, and you see kind of like all of these different cultural periods, his ancestors dancing. There's different like cultural dances, bringing different elements of music within the scene. Ryan Coogler does such a good job, and I think the person who did like a lot of the music was Ludwig, I think is his name, who worked with Childish Gambino. But he does a great job incorporating modern day themes within this blues music that we see when Sammy's playing in the juke joint. What I really like is you hear 808s over some blues music. Like, I haven't heard that maybe ever. I don't know if I've heard 808s on some blues. But between Sammy, who's an actual like gospel prodigy, like the actor is a gospel prodigy, the guitar strumming, the piano in the back, harmonicas in the back, with these modern day trap elements is insane to me. And that was just something that I did not expect going into this movie, and really, really appreciated kind of seeing an acknowledgement for Southern rap culture and also just modern day rap production. Within this scene where the ancestors are dancing, we also see rock stars. We also see different dances, like cultural dances. Like, there's people in there crip walking in this juke joint that's set in like the 1930s, which I just did not. Everything about that scene was immaculate. I think it was the best scene in the movie, probably. Which I thought was really, really cool, and kind of how they incorporated that almost seamlessly, and it seemed natural. It didn't seem out of place, didn't seem forced. Whereas I feel like a lot of other movies could have easily ruined that scene, but I think Ryan did such a good job at highlighting kind of the beauty and connectivity between all these different genres. And I remember there was a blues singer that I watched recently that talked about how blues will live on no matter what.
Rock and roll is the same thing, come from the blues. Everything come from the blues. The blues were here when the world was born.
Where do you think the blues will be in the year 2000?
It ain't gonna never die. It'll go maybe higher, may go lower, but it's gonna come back up.
This is for those people that don't know. Are you the healer, and can you tell us about it?
I don't heal, but what I sing heals. The blues are healer.
He was like, blues could never die, but it may change form. And I think we see that with all genres of music, that black culture like spreads throughout and evolves and changes, often incorporates a lot of different music and genre. Now, sometimes that happens naturally and sometimes that happens forcefully, which I think Ryan did another great job of incorporating kind of the forceful nature that this can happen. Which, major spoiler, that was kind of the ideology behind the vampires. So the main vampire is Remick. Now, Remick is an Irishman from, I guess, the initial periods of when the British came to colonize Ireland, and basically came and decimated them. Famine, all that, did all that. Basically, his main plot point was that he was a singer or a musician and lost the gift that Sammy had of connecting with his ancestors, of feeling the community with music. And so that's why he was coming for Sammy initially, was for that connectivity and to kind of get that gift back. Now, the way that he sees it is it's organic, it's natural. He's doing a great thing. It seems, in his mind, selfless. He's like, I will give you this if you give me that. And this is the gift of, like, everlasting life, which is being a vampire. And, like, you have forced community of people doing this without their consent or their will. But in his mind, it's kind of like the idea of the melting pot within America. And it's kind of this forceful colonization of music, which creates a blend between these genres. And I think you hear that within the scene where Remick is dancing outside of the barn. And this is after he's turned a lot of people within the barn. Like, after he turned mad people, they were outside dancing, and you see them hooting and hollering. You see Cornbread doing some, like gospel kind of church dances. And I think that's in an effort to show, like, this kind of forceful blend. It almost seems unnatural how it's happening, and it feels unnatural. I think that was the point. But you can see Remick, the main vampire dude, is feeling good. He's like, this is exactly what I was envisioning. This is exactly what I want. We just need Sammy's gifts to, like, maximize this. We need to take this and, like, profit as much as we can, whether that's spiritually, financially, or in any type of way. And I think it's really cool how Ryan kind of incorporated that forceful melting pot ideology within this. And I think there's multiple layers of this, but I think it's important to note that the Irish were also colonized. And that was kind of like a huge proponent of Remick's character. I mean, he talks about being colonized, and they came and, like, spread Christian ideology, and he had no choice. And he talks about it bringing him comfort, and that's exactly what Sammy's doing within the scene near the end of the movie. Or Remick was kind of relating to Sammy and saying, like, we're two people in the same boat. Like, I was exactly where you are, but I'm going to free you. And it's kind of this forceful, like, white savior ideology that I think is really interesting. And it's like, I remember I had a teacher in my African American history class, and he kind of, like, talked about this in a really interesting way, that a lot of the issues with, like, the white saviors is that they feel like they're doing something good. In their mind, they're doing something good. They're lifting a community that they see down. But in order to feel like you're a savior, you have to think that you're above that group of people. And I think that's the main issue here, is that the vampires in the movie, quote unquote, the vampire ideology, they thought they were better than the humans, which made them feel like doing the colonization, or basically the gentrification of this blues music, was okay. They were like, well, we're doing you a service. When in reality, like, this is not what they wanted at all. And they did not consent. No one consented. None of the people that got bit by Remick consented at all. Whether they thought it was a good thing or not. But that's mainly what I want to talk about within this video. I just think it was really interesting kind of how they framed everything, especially with the blues being seen as the devil's music, because, like, that was historically true, and that goes on to rock. It's like Christians seeing rock as the devil, or that being, like, a widespread ideology. And I think Ryan Coogler just did a great job, and the more that I think about this movie, the more I'm like, bro, he was cooking. Like he was cooking. He was doing a good job. So I want to say I really like the movie. I want to see it again just to break it down a little bit more. I think I might see it again. We'll see. I might wait till it's on DVD for real. But yeah, great movie. If you haven't seen it, you should definitely check it out. I try not to spoil as much as possible. So I hope I didn't ruin the movie for anybody that hasn't seen it yet. But yeah, man, thank you guys for tuning in and watching. Definitely check out my other content down below, and it should be on this video as well. Let me know what you guys thought about the movie. Did you think the music scenes were cool? Do you think the movie was good? What do you think about the movie? Is my analysis bad? Just let me know down below in the comments below. But as always, I love you guys and appreciate you guys. Peace out. Be smooth.